What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So I'm going to show you guys a clip of Sherrod Brown, Senator Brown. He's going to be talking about Social Security and the struggles that people go through when it comes to receiving Social Security benefits, and the fact that you have some lawmakers and some experts that want to raise that full retirement age. So we're going to focus on that in this video. But first off, if you guys can do me a favor, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that little bell notification, and then click all. By clicking all, you'll get notified anytime we post a video. We do daily videos here, so by clicking the bell notification and clicking all, you should be getting updated every day. And just a reminder, thank you for your support. I really appreciate it. And if you guys want to see me live, I will be doing live streams on Thursday night at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I just finished a video last night, or a live stream last night. Had a really good time. So if you didn't catch that live stream, go over there and check it out. And we'll be doing them every Thursday. And I enjoyed myself so much. I think Thursday will be the set day, but I will be doing live streams periodically when I get some news that I want to get out to you guys. What I like is sometimes I can show you guys a clip and then we can talk about the video clip that I'm showing you. Kind of like what I do in my regular videos, but I get that interaction back and forth. So we can show the video and we can talk about it. You guys can be in the chat asking questions, making statements and things like that. So I enjoy that aspect. I did that last night and I really enjoyed it. So I'm going to do that in the very, very near future. So Thursday for sure, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, I will be there. But then also make sure you subscribe and hit that little bell notification. You'll get the notification if I'm doing other live streams and they're not on Thursday. So I want to go ahead and get over to this video, and we're going to watch a little bit of it, and then we'll talk a little bit about it. Now, he is talking, this is a hearing, and he is talking to an expert about Social Security, okay? And this expert wants to leave everything on the table, and one of the things that they were talking about is the full retirement age. Do you want to raise the full retirement age is basically what Sherrod Brown is asking him about. And so we'll see the response. Here we go.
Just last month, you wrote in the Wall Street Journal, no, Social Security isn't earned. You've also said all options should be on the table, and that includes, I assume, raising the retirement age and privatizing Social Security when you say all options should be on the table.
I think Congress should keep all options on the table.
Maybe if you spent more time talking about people that work at the McDonald's drive-thru, or people that are steel workers, or people that are on their feet all day, people who work hard. You know, Social Security matters to them. And if you think about raising the retirement age, as you've advocated and others have advocated, it's that much longer those people have to wait. And we expect them to work to 65 or 67. So often they don't have a retirement. So often they don't have vacation. So often they don't have health care. And it's why people hate Washington. They don't see us paying enough attention to people that work with their hands, people on their feet all day, people that struggle with the daily mess of life. And we simply don't, as a culture, reward them for it.
Okay. And I want to, if I can't get this to move here, I want to see what Sherrod Brown wrote. So it says, saying Congress should keep all options on the table, including raising the retirement age, is Washington speak for cutting Social Security. Now, Sherrod Brown is right about that. When you talk about raising the full retirement age, for every year that you raise a full retirement age, it's equivalent to about a 7% cut to Social Security benefits, because we all have a clock ticking as far as how long we're going to live. So if you move that full retirement age up, that means that you're going to be able to receive a less of an amount when it comes to Social Security benefits. So he's right about that. So 7% for every year. And so if they're talking about raising the full retirement age from 67 to 70, then that would be a 21% cut across the board. Okay, let's see what else he has to say. It says it's simple. Someone who wants to cut Social Security should not serve in the Social Security Advisory Board. Or serve on the board. So another thing I want to talk about, and I want to really focus in on this. They're talking about having a committee or a commission, and I think that's what he is talking about here, this advisory board. But basically, you're going to have experts. I think the way that they're breaking this down, and I'm not completely sure how they're going to move forward. I don't even think they know how they're going to move forward yet, but this is what Speaker Johnson has put out there. They want to have this board, this commission that sits down and looks at Social Security, looks at Medicare, looks at some of the other agencies, and sees where if there's any wasteful spending. So the what they want to have is, I believe, 6 senators, 6 representatives. So you'll have 3 Democrats, 3 Republicans in the Senate for as far as senators. Then with representatives, you'll have 3 Republicans, 3 Democrats, and then have 4 experts. And so we don't know who those 4 experts are, but you saw Sherrod Brown was pretty upset talking with this expert. And this expert wants to leave everything, put everything on the table, including privatizing Social Security and all of that. So it's dangerous for a few different reasons. And one is they want to have it behind closed doors. So they don't want to have it out there for everyone to see. I want to see what they're talking about. I want to hear what the experts are actually saying to the public. Okay, I think that we should be able to hear that. I want to also hear what the lawmakers have to say in public. I don't want it behind closed doors, but they want to have this behind closed doors, as well as who's going to be voting on this, because we vote for our lawmakers to represent us. That's the reason why we're voting for these people. But these 4 experts, we didn't vote for those people. And so now you're allowing them to participate in the system, but we didn't vote for those people who are participating. And so I think that's very dangerous, a very dangerous road to go down. And from this report, that's what the rest of the representatives and the senators are going to look at and say, okay, yeah, let's move forward with this proposal. And we got all our information from this behind closed doors meeting that they're having. So it's very, very dangerous. Now, one last thing I want to talk about when it comes to Sherrod Brown and what he was saying, and he's 100% correct. When you're talking about people working until 67, not everybody can work until 67. Some people have to retire because their body cannot allow them to work that long. If you're working in demanding jobs where you're, dangerous jobs where you're out there and constant movement and, stuff like that, you can't do that until you're 67. It just doesn't, it's not something that you can do. I received a pension working in law enforcement, but even in law enforcement, you can't work out on the street 67. I mean, you can, I guess, but that's a dangerous thing. Okay. And that's part of the reason why, if you're working in law enforcement, they usually provide some type of a pension, and they allow you to retire a little early. You don't have to wait until you're in your 60s. You can retire in your 50s in most situations. But and I'm just using that as an example. But you think construction work and other jobs, it'd be hard to work until you're 67. Let alone now you have lawmakers saying, "Oh, you know what? Let's move it up to 70." So can you imagine if you're a construction worker, you're doing? I mean, we need people to do these jobs. Okay, so you can't just say, "Well, why don't they just get another job?" We have to have people do these jobs. And so if we're saying we want to have people do these jobs, and then we're not being sensitive to the fact that we're saying if you're 67, well, we're going to raise that full retirement age up to 70. For some people, that's not an option. And so you're now going to penalize these people because initially you work until you're 67, you get your full retirement. Okay, that's the way it works right now. But if you move it up to 70, now you need to wait until you're 70 to get your full retirement. If you retire at 67, if they make changes, if you retire at 67, you're going to get reduced benefits. Just like you get reduced benefits now if you take out your Social Security at 62. And then what are they going to do with that bottom end? Are they going to move that bottom end from 62 up to 65 because they've moved the top end from 67 to 70? And so now people won't even be able to retire at 62 anymore. So there's when it comes down to it, it's just not a good solution. And the kicker, when it comes to raising the full retirement age, you have to do more than just raising the full retirement age in order to reform Social Security. That's the kicker there. So they're saying this like, oh, yeah, we'll just raise the full retirement age. You need to do more. You're not going to reform Social Security. We'll still be looking at the trust fund running out of money in about 10 years, even if you raise the full retirement age. And they're saying, well, we're not gonna affect anybody who is, in their, they would say 40, or actually they've been saying 50. They haven't even said 40. People that are in their 50s, they can still retire at the same time at 67. But people who are younger than that, they're going to have to, they might not be able to retire at 67. They might have to wait, and they could graduate it. It's probably what they would do, graduate it, just like they did back in 83 when they passed Social Security reform. They graduated it, so it didn't start immediately, so it went from 65 to 67, but it was gradual. Well, they'll do that again, but that's not the solution. You still need to do more. And that's where they'll start saying, well, okay, well, let's privatize Social Security. Let's talk about all these other things. But what they're doing is raising the full retirement age. That's a cut to Social Security. Then privatizing Social Security. That's another cut to Social Security. Because if you're privatizing Social Security, let's say it's even just a portion of that 6.2% FICA contribution. If you take 6.2%, because when I'm working, anybody's working, they're paid 6.2%, as long as you're not working with a pension. So I won't use myself because I received a pension, so I was paying into a pension. I wasn't paying into FICA. But if you're paying into FICA, you're paying 6.2%, your employer's paying 6.2%. That money goes to Social Security beneficiaries who are currently receiving benefits. But if you were to privatize Social Security, and what they've been talking about right now is taking a portion of that 6.2% and allowing you to invest that in the stock market. Well, if you take a portion of your 6.2% and you invest it, you're taking that money from the people who are currently receiving Social Security benefits, because they're not going to get that money anymore because that money is tied up in stocks. And so that's why privatizing Social Security won't work. It would have worked maybe years ago, 20 years ago, when we had the surplus and the FICA contribution, everyone was working, the FICA contribution was more than enough to pay out benefits. But now it's not. Now we're looking at the FICA contribution only amounts to about 77%. And so you still need to pull money from the trust fund. That's the reason why we have $2.7 trillion sitting in a trust fund. The reason for that is because we had a surplus for a number of years. But now we're at a point where they need to start using that surplus. So just look at it as like savings. If you're making so much money, you're just putting money in your savings, you're paying all your bills and you're putting money in your savings. After a while, you have a lot of money. You have a nest egg in your savings. But let's say your expenses now get to a point where you're spending more than you're making. And so now every month you're pulling from that savings. And then eventually that money in the savings will run out. And so you're going to need to bring in more revenue. And so that's why I say they're either going to need to raise the FICA contribution or raise the cap on people that are over that limit. And so right now, when it comes to contributing to FICA, you only have to contribute up to $168,600. Once you make money over that level, like you'll be paying into the FICA contribution up to that point, but any money over that point, you no longer have to pay into the contribution. And so what they want to do is they want to raise that cap. They want to say, well, you need to start, everybody needs to pay. Even if you're making $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, you should be paying into that FICA contribution all the way up. And so that's what they're talking about right now. And there are different proposals that are out there. Social Security 2100 Act says anyone making $400,000 or more will have to continue to pay into the payroll contribution. So you'll have kind of a donut hole in the middle. So people making $168,600, once you get over that, you don't have to pay into the payroll contribution until you reach $400,000, and then you start having to pay into it again. So they'll have kind of a little donut there. But over time, and it'll take years, but over time, that gap will decrease. So $168,600, $400,000. With the cost of living adjustments and everything, it will start to decrease, and it'll get to a point where you no longer have that donut. Okay, it'll go away. So I want to know what you guys think about this, but the main thing that I think Senator Brown was talking about here was the fact that, look, not everyone can do this. Not everyone can work until they're 70, let alone a lot of people can't even work until they're 67. That's why you have a push. A lot of people will retire at 62 and they'll try to make it work, or they have their retirement plan set up and they just need a little bit from Social Security. So as soon as 62 comes around, they're retiring. So I want to know what you guys think about this. So let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.